Okay, here's how to do a couple of different close-up switches with the camera. And I've got the Pink Panther here with just a couple of movements, and they're not great because I threw them together really quickly, but he's tapping his foot and his tail is kind of wagging. So I'll do a close-up of the tail, kind of on the right side, and then immediately switch to a close-up of his other foot tapping on the left. I'll start out with the full shot of the entire stage of the Pink Panther for, I don't know, just 1 second, say, up to frame 24. And then I'll take the track camera and click on it, click once over here in a blank area, which will create a keyframe for that camera. And I also need to do this with the zoom camera and click once here because I will be using track and zoom for these close-ups. I'll use my vertical scroll bar over here so that I can actually see, okay, if it'll cooperate, the keyframes here for both track and zoom. Now, immediately after this first second, I'm going to get kind of close to the tail and this foot over here. So I'll go just to frame 25, right? Just one frame. And then I'll click on, well, it doesn't matter which one I choose first. I'm going to need both zoom and track. So clicking on the zoom icon over here and holding my left mouse button down, I pull, and then I've got to go over to track camera and click on that icon, clicking the left mouse button down again, and maybe I'll even zoom in a little bit closer. So going back and forth between zoom and track until I get what I want in my stage area. So, and I should probably zoom out just a little bit here so we can see what will be in there. Let's say that I like that. So, immediately from frame 24 to frame 25, it's going to just zoom. Not a slow zoom, but an immediate switch. So, I want to follow this. I want to watch the tail moving for a while. I don't know, to frame 96. I need to hold this camera pose, so to speak. The easiest way to do that is to copy the track and zoom keyframes right here that I set up. So I'm doing a Control C on my keyboard, and then over at 96, a Control V to paste. All right, that means this will all hold, it will stay between these two. Now I'm just going to immediately switch to watching this foot tap over here and have that be the close-up. So one more frame past frame 96, I go to frame 97. At that point, I can then, and this is going to be a little bit easier, well, let's say I just want to see this foot. Now you'll see that it created a keyframe there on frame 97 for the track camera. All right, now we should create a keyframe for the zoom camera. So I'll click on the zoom camera icon and click once in a blank area here. So now we have keyframes on 97. We're going to hold that pose as he taps his foot. I'll go over to, say it will be at frame 168 for the entire sequence there where we see that close-up. Now I can see that when he taps the foot, he's going to hang below my image area there, the stage. But I'll copy these two keyframes for track and zoom again because then I need to hold this camera pose all the way for this duration. So moving the scrub bar to 168 and then pasting those exact same keyframes will ensure that nothing moves for track or zoom all the way through that sequence, right? And then let's say after that, I'm just going to go snap back out to seeing the original scene where the panther is, we see the full body of the panther. So to 169, then I can just click reset for both of these. Reset there for zoom, click on the track camera, reset for track. So then it pops immediately in just one frame back to where we started. So if I play this through, then we can watch it. And let me click here on layer just so that we don't see the bones. So playing this through, and this is pretty fast, switches. I'll just let it run through again. Here, let me stop this. I'll go back to frame 0. We're starting out in just 1 second. We see the first switch. Switching to the tail, that stays. Switching to the other foot, and then back to seeing the full body shot. Okay, so the trick is that you have to remember to put in keyframes for any camera that you affected. So if for some reason you used all of them, you're going to have to make sure that you have keyframes for every single one in that sequence from beginning to end. All right, here's where the close-up of the tapping foot, and I've got the keyframes for both, and I had to decide how long do I want to see this. And at the end of it, I had to make a copy of those same keyframes to hold that camera pose, and then I could make a move again. Okay, so that's how you can switch around to close-ups without doing any kind of slow zoom.